Greetings, world. Welcome to another edition of MEN-talRollaDeK. Today's host, Rich Lamar. Greetings,
Yes, that's
King.
greetings, positive energy to all.
Greetings, Queen Adija.
Greetings, greetings.
Rich, I hear world in a top two in a big man. Well, go on. What the topic today?
I wish I could do the Jamaican accent. I got two Jamaican accents here. None of
I
them are
get it.
mine.
I get it to Jamaican woman say, yeah, they might teach you the accent. But we live, Rich. Talk to the world.
We live, so you in a playful mood. Greetings, everybody out there in the world. Amidst all of this chaos and disorder that's going on globally, uh, it used to be just an American black man trying to get his rights and civil rights going, but it seems like the world is saying I can't breathe. And normally I don't start off like this because the topic is uh, based on my book, and the topic is the explanation is not the explained, meaning nature and the holistic way and existence beyond thought has already explained uh, what's going on, and it's already supporting us uh, as a whole. But before I start on that, just let the audience know this is a question and answer live. You can ask me questions pertaining to spirituality, uh, it- pertaining to spiritual, psychological, biological, based on hurt and depression also, because I'm going to be talking about things based on my book. But with all this stuff going on, I must say first, my condolences to all those black men, Africans, that have lost their lives to injustice. My condolences to all the mothers, the fathers, the kinfolk, the ones closest to the ones who have lost their lives in this brutal way. And I'm saying this little monologue because it needs to be said because I know I want to get my point across about the book and the question and answers going here on this live. But I must say, universal blessings to those who are close to the ones who have lost their lives. In America, they call it the criminal justice system. And that is in big question because if you look at the wording, it seems like only the criminals are getting justice. And maybe they meant that because they are acting that out. Black men lives are being lost as we speak. The ones that's caught on cameras is the tip of the iceberg. And the tip of the iceberg, when you see a tip of the iceberg, it's only 1/10 that you see. 9/10 is under the water. So these videos that you see of black men being murdered by so-called authority and supposed to be protecting the community, that's just the tip of the iceberg. So that means 9/10 is we're not seeing. So whenever you catch somebody in a lie or you find out something ugly or some ugly fact, you wonder what you don't know. And I can't be any more serious right now because that's my brothers and sisters out there. And if you look at this in a holistic way, that's your brothers and sisters. Because hate anywhere is a threat to peace everywhere. And these men is supposed to be living in a society to where you must be tried in a court of law before you are sentenced to death or sentenced to jail or any type of sentencing. And without no jury, no due process, no negotiation, they're being literally murdered by the so-called person that they call to protect them. So I ask for all of you to take up arms, physically, spiritually, in whatever way you can. Because if you can't be protected by the one that's so-called saying that they are your protector, then you must protect yourself. Now, evil did not create this beautiful place that we're in. So evil is not going to maintain it or destroy it all. So the universe is on our side. And so I like to continue with the show. And like I said, those of you who just joined us, my book is called Beyond Thought: Living Without Hurt and Depression. And I'm here to answer your questions because I'm used to doing this live, doing lectures, and then I talk for like 10 minutes and I open up for questions. But the this online thing is new to me, and thanks to MEN-talRollaDeK and Jermaine and all my friends, Deja Pache, and everybody that helped me along in doing it this way. Uh, so again, my book is called Beyond Thought: Living Without Hurt and Depression, and I'm opening up for questions. Anybody have questions? And you can even talk about what's going on right now because my book touches, and Jermaine will tell you, my book touches all of it, but in a holistic way, and I'll answer it the best way I can. And thank you all for showing up. You know, I love you all. And any questions you guys got on your mind?
Rich, that was a very beautiful speech, King.
Thank you, brother.
Um,
Gratitude.
I've known that we saw a video of a most recent death. I mean, I don't know how early the date is. Was it today or yesterday, so on and so forth? But it was the same thing. Um, again, I feel like we're stuck in a loop, basically, and we keep watching the same thing within this dimension happening over and over again. And I'm really wondering after all this protest, right? And the emotion dies down and logic kicks in. What is it that we're going to do to move forward? Are we going to keep showing our hands, or we're going to move with actual true policies and true harder? Are we going to be more organized? Are we going to stop buying up stuff and waste our legal tenders like we normally waste our legal tenders? Focusing on the Jordans, the fast cars, the PlayStations, the Xboxes, and all this nonsense of no true value, right? What are we going to do? Are we going to change to make change, starting physically, spiritually, and mentally? Or are we just going to change for the moment and go back to the same old shit we normally do? That's my question. And I know you can't speak for the masses, but you can speak for yourself.
Yeah, that's right, brother. And that's a good question. And I want everybody to hear me. In my book, I make a statement that um, the solution is always in the problem, no matter how minute the problem or how enormous. And in hurt and depression, and spiritually, psychologically, and biologically, the solution is always in the problem. And the answer Jermaine's question the best way I can, according to my book says the past is dead. The only thing alive is the right now, is the present now, and the future is not a fact. But my book also says that life is about relationships. Now we have relationships with our jobs, careers, and all that. Now, this relationship that the Black American has with America has been a marriage that didn't work. It's a marriage that don't work. And you queens out there, you ever been in a relationship that you really don't like and you're trying to get out of it? And you look at yourself and you be like, how did I put up with all this all these years? And how did I get here?
Sure. Yep.
You know? And the man and you know that there ain't no more use in going no further. Both of you know it's over, but the only thing that connects you is the bills or the kids or something that has nothing to do with love.
Mm-hmm.
Now we're in a situation in America to where we are actually seeing people murdered without court and justice, and just, you in a war whether you like it or not. So we have to let the marriage go. So it's not about going back to normal or going back to here, because when you leave disorder, order remains. So over the years and centuries, it has become clear that the black man can't get along with this white man here in America. He won't let us get along with him. We tried civil rights. We tried jobs. We tried going to school. We tried president. We tried the religions. We tried talking. And God knows we can talk. We tried praying. It seems like everything we tried, it didn't work. So common sense, what my book says, common sense is a solution to all things. Because if you apply common sense to something complicated, it will simplify it. Now you have to be able to look under the surface deeply to simplify something complicated. But common sense is what we lost is when we decided to dress like a European. Common sense is what we lost when we decided to eat like a European. Common sense is what we lost when we decided to think like a European. We are European in a black face.
Mm-hmm.
And so now you wonder why you don't know how to get out of this when you help put yourself in it. So the only solution is one thing. You must separate and divorce by any means necessary. If it takes the gun, if it takes not feeding the beast financially, if it takes moving out, this is a revolt. Because common sense, we all share a common sense to love, observe, learn, protect, and survive. If you're not a fighter, somebody slaps you upside the head, uh, common sense and instinctively you're gonna put your arm up, even if you can't defend yourself. So you can't go through this defenseless. You can't go through this quiet. But my answer is you must separate. You must divorce. You know. And any more questions about it? You must divorce. You got to leave it.
Um, but the crazy thing about this is this relationship been going on for years on top of years, right? In actuality, relationship started 400 years ago, right?
Right.
Yeah, that's when you were first invaded, right?
Yeah.
And they
Yeah.
call it a discovery. They call it a discovery when the individual they claim that discovered it was what did he do per se? He was a it was somebody that go out and find new places. It wasn't that he was discovered. He was shamed by his country, and this was the only way that he could pretty much make amends by going out and discovering shit for the queen or whatever his country was. He was a castaway. But there's a particular word that I'm looking for that I actually forgot, and I can't think of it right now. But like we've been in this relationship for a while, and everything is reversed. The lies, the stories. You look
What?
around
What?
you.
That's true. That's true. But we have two queens on here, and see, a woman has the child. A woman is co-creator with Mother Nature. A woman is co-creator with the garden of Earth. So things grow within her. Not only the egg and the embryo, but feelings and things that's thrown at her and things that's said to her. It grows in her. So women are more upset than this than men because women want and need order just like everybody else, but more because they co-creators with the universe. Now it doesn't matter if this relationship was going on for 1,000 years. It's just the relationship was forced on us. We was invaded. So it's like a forced marriage. And when you take up the religion from something, the religion, so everything about the relationship is a lie.
Mm-hmm.
Look, if somebody is lying in the beginning, they're lying in the end, and they're lying through the whole thing. Now that slow wick that started 400 years ago is getting close to the bomb. So you either blow up with them or separate. And you can talk all the philosophy, you can talk all of the books and everything you want, but the bottom line is he raped us. He raped you, queens. And when somebody rapes you, you don't take their advice anymore. You separate. No, you just want out. Am I right or wrong, queens?
Absolutely right.
So we're not gonna talk to you no more. We're gonna shoot you off of us. We're gonna beat you up. Queens, if somebody is on top of you raping you, if the gun is nearby, what's gonna happen?
I'm going to
He's
pick
a
it up and shoot him.
he's a dead man.
Mm-hmm.
So if a knife is nearby, what's gonna happen?
Same thing.
By any means necessary, you're gonna want to separate from the disorder.
But at the same time, though, King, let's talk about the individuals that actually love the disorder, that loves the pain, that don't want to separate. You get what I'm saying? Because you have a lot of people that love what the crumbs that they're getting, the
Mm-hmm.
abuse. They love the abuse. They make excuse for the abuse, right? And they're the same people that you see around you. Like they will talk to you, and you be like, oh, I think say Terrence or whatever you're gonna call it, Terrence or whoever they are at the moment. Oh, Terrence seemed like he's coming into the light. He wants change. But as soon as your back's turned, Terrence is like, yo, he said he's gonna do this, he's gonna do that. Like we are the people that tend to claim we're going to war without resources, but at the same time, yo, I'm telling you my battle plans.
Yes, but the name of this live is the explanation is not explained. That means that common sense and earth and universe has already given us love and a free earth. Science and education has its place, but nothing needs to be explained. If you can understand nature, if you can enter over and understand nature, you don't need a script or a scripture. A woman is a woman, a queen is a queen. She don't need a man to tell her how to be a queen. Nobody can tell you how to be you. But when somebody invades you and tells you how to eat, how to sleep, how to think, how to work, and they say this is what you got to do, and you have to do this, and you have to do that, you lose yourself. How
Mm-hmm.
can you how can you see yourself when you're trying to comply to somebody else's way of living? So those who love disorder, it comes to the point now, queens and kings, that those who love disorder, those we have to ask every brother and sister, what are you going to do about this atrocity that's going on to your people? If the answer is nothing, they must be shot too. If you love disorder, you love death. And the explanation is not explained. That means that there is no death unless there's disorder. So as long as you stay in disorder, the end of that path is death. No matter how good it feels, no matter how good it seems. That's why they want us to be happy shopping in the mall, to be happy with our cell phones, to be happy with our degrees and cars and clothes and jobs. Because we can't see when you happy with that, you can't see the disorder down the line. You're learning how to live with disorder. Do that make sense?
Completely.
Yes.
So it comes to the point now that we can't run with nobody who want to run with disorder because they're not on our side. Because even if disorder is wealthy, the end of it is death.
Mm-hmm.
We the universe is on our side. The explanation is not the explain. That means the universe has explained it. We don't need your books and your philosophies. That means the universe is with us. You can't kill us. If you kill Adija, the universe gonna make 1,000 more. If you kill Shanae, universe gonna make 1,000 more. This is why they trying to kill us because we can create 1,000 more of us through the womb, through the mother's womb. You can't kill us. But
Glad you said that. And I want to interject exactly on that point. You just said we can create 1,000 more within the mother's womb, right? And King says this, and I'm going to quote him back. Society only gets as far as the queen goes. So all the men that's out there rah rah and women and all the women out there f this man and blase blah. Guess what? You need each other.
Mm-hmm.
So you can pretend when the camera and the lights is flashing and everything is on. You need each other. It's balance, but you cannot be balanced if you're unbalanced with the way you consume everything, food, music, everything you see.
Yes, and that's why I have to put it in the subconscious. This title, the explanation is not the explain. For those of you who are listening, I'm gonna keep saying that so you can get it. You might not get it today, or you might get it. But again, I must say that this live is about me supporting my book and what I'm saying about this ugly society that we didn't make ugly. So that means um, in my book, I say society is sick. We didn't make it sick. They say that niggas, all you got to do, they like crabs in a barrel. You don't have to put a lid on it. But we didn't create the barrel, and we didn't create niggas. So obviously, the violator needed a barrel and a nigga in his life. The queens that's out there, if you're being raped by any means necessary, you want that man off of you. And as a people, we are being raped. So if we got to shoot, scratch, this is all in my book. And this is all about the explanation, is not the explain. Meaning, I don't need you to explain me anything because I already see it. Queens, if you walk in on your man and he got two women with him, and you got a bag full of groceries after hard days of work to feed him, he don't need to explain anything. Am I right or wrong?
That's
You're
right.
right.
This is what I'm saying. This is what I'm saying. And I'm answering the questions about it. And look, I'm giving you because I'm kind of flipping it. This is supposed to be just me explaining my book and questions, but I know you queens and kings got something to say. So, I'm going to flip it a little bit. But um this is in all my book, but just in a beyond the surface type of lingo and exchange. But I'm glad the Queens is here because I want the Queens right now because I'm comparing what's happened to us as a people as a rape. And I want each of you Queens to say how you feel right now.
Another thing, Rich, you thought you was coming to the party by yourself?
Yeah, but I when I do my lectures, I talk and then I open up for questions. But I want the Queens to express themselves how they feel right now, and then we can go back to the Q&A. Start.
Greetings, greetings, beautiful Miss Prochet.
Hey, greetings, my kings and queens. How you guys doing?
We're well. So, because everybody else is silent, we're gonna speak to you first.
Really?
Welcome.
Thank you. I, what am I saying right now? What do we ask? I'm so sorry.
I can answer real quick.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
I'm mad angry. Like it's just a whole bunch of anger because I'm not the sort of person. I'm not a timid person. I'm not a meek person. I'm I can be really aggy if I want to. And seeing all of this kind of stuff and seeing how timid we've been for so many years, it's not just my lifetime. This has been happening from 400 years ago, in it. We're still going through the same thing, but the thing that irritates me the most isn't even what the white people are doing to us or what Asians do to us or Arabs, is how we respond to it. Like why do we have this like this thing about us where we always want to forgive or we always want to be peaceful or we always like it's not the time and it hasn't been the time for that for a very long for ages. A few years ago, the same thing, a similar thing happened where I can't remember the man's name because so many of us have died. That's how crazy it is. But he was strangled to death by the police as well, and that was on video and whatever. It's the same thing that's happening, and we're just too timid. And more than anything, I'm angry and frustrated.
I'm going to answer that after Shanae and Shanae.
So, I'm gonna build on Adija. I'm very, very upset. I'm very angry. Um, you know, I have the opportunity of having a grandmother who is 92 years old, and I have conversations with her. So I'm able to see this through the eyes of someone who actually picked cotton in the cotton fields of Mississippi. And when we question ourselves as to say, why do we keep allowing this and we keep going through the same motions, is basically going through the motions over and over again. I have conversations with her, and I go in and I sit down and have tea with her, and we discuss these matters. And I bring it up to her and I say, Mom, what do you think? And she says, yeah, they are killing us, but I think we going too far. So again, as Rich states, the problem is always, wait, the answer is always within the problem. And that is a problem, that statement that my grandmother made right there. And I went back to, when I was younger, I wouldn't have questioned her, because a lot of our people will have this attitude about, don't question what I say, right? So I took it a little further with her and I said, well, Ma, you don't feel like they're, going too far killing us? And she agreed. And then, as she agreed in the same breath, that conversation was over. I came back to her the next morning, which was today. And she was sitting in front of the television watching a white man and talk about Christianity. I stood there in the kitchen. I leaned back on the sink and I looked at her, and she was watching him. When he started to pray, she started to pray. So for when I look at my grandmother, I'm back to Rich. It starts with this religion. It starts with the infiltration of the mind, of the reconditioning them to think a certain way, and it starts with the black, or I'm sorry, with the queen, because she's running the household. She's the one bringing it into the home. I also had the opportunity to spend time with my grandfather because they both raised me. And there was a point that my grandmother was the one continuously going to church, and my grandfather refused to go to church. He would not participate in it. But because she was the one, she took us, the children. She was the one continuously. It's a psych. It's the reinforcement of the white supremacy that comes through religion. So when we say, what are we, is it okay? No, it's not okay. But again, I'm here like fourth generation from a woman who this was instilled in her. So it's about breaking the cycle, but it's hard to break the cycle when the cycle is so strong. It's a stronghold.
Can can I interject before one of you guys speak? This is what Sister Shahrazad Ali was speaking on. Nobody have ever held the so-called black woman accountable for all she do, but a lot of black women was upset because she put a little um emphasis on, say, within the book, that the man need to backhand the woman in the mouth. So they missed the thousand odd words that she stated just because that one line. But this is what she was talking about. You got to look at it. Like 90% of the churchgoers involves women,
Mm-hmm.
and men go because of the women.
Mm-hmm.
And the teachings that a lot of our children get is from the woman, but they
Mm-hmm.
don't want to hold themselves accountable to that. As parents, we're the first brainwashers, and we
Mm-hmm.
was brainwashed by somebody else. We keep passing on those fake philosophies over and over again, and that's all I wanted to state, because that's what Shahrazad Ali was speaking on. But
You see, when it comes to that, yeah, I always agree. The only thing that gets on my like that irks me about it is how people come across when they're trying to say it. They say it as if like we 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 was want to. Do you know what I mean? Like we're fully aware that that's an issue. Like we're fully these people. When I have to give it to English people, yeah, because they are very smart. Like when it come to the Vikings back in the day, the Vikings were way more powerful, but English people use their brain, and they always have done, which is why they've been able to hold on to the earth the way they've done for so long, and blind everyone the way they have for so long as well. Like, they use their brain. They knew exactly who to target, how to target, how to infiltrate. They know that the woman's more spiritual. They know that
Mhm.
the woman's
Mhm.
around the man. They know that the woman's going to be the one taking care of the children. So
Mhm.
during slavery, colonization, and whatever of other systematic thing they did to us, they focused on what they needed to in order so that 100 years down the line we're still perpetuating something. They don't even need to lift their finger anymore. And when
Mhm.
people bring this to black women, as you said, Shahrazad Ali was like, "Oh, you need to backhand the woman." It's like, that's not the right way to go about this, and that's why a lot of black women aren't going to take in what's being said. I feel like we don't deal with each other properly. Oh, sugar, hold on.
But
And
but hold
oh,
on,
go
Queen.
ahead.
But that's not what it really meant. She wasn't saying um to go out and hurt the black woman. She also touched base on the fact the black woman is already getting hurt. There were people raping the black woman. There was dudes, especially within our community, men that looked like us was doing it as well. So she said, instead of you stabbing and taking the breath out of a black woman, right, and hurting her, scarring her face, and having doing all different types of things, backhand her and it be over with. No, I'm not enforcing violence, but I grasp the concept. And the thing with people is 9 times out of 10, we utilize our emotions in a lot of things. And when we utilize our emotions, we can't make the proper decisions or function properly because we make everything emotional.
Okay,
Period.
Sister Shay, you want to go before I go back to Q&A?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Um, um, just to kind of piggyback on everybody else here and on my queens, um, you know, everything that's been lately coming into our ear and eye gate has forced this hand of reality that has been rearing its ugly head for hundreds of years, and we're looking at it yet again. And of course, just like everybody else, watching the videos has enraged me and made me very upset. I've gotten to a point now that I can't watch the videos because of the rage. But here's the thing. One of the things that I've learned, in transition of this, because I was in Baton Rouge, Louisiana during Alton Sterling. And I know for sure that during that time that we could not afford to just constantly stand in a picket line and doing all of this without making some type of moves. And yes, we need to know that this is happening. It's never stopped, but it's more relevant now because everything's current and it's like stuff is happening back to back. It's, this state, this city, and it's constantly, it's the same thing. It's the same thing. But since it is the same thing, and we've constantly been doing the same thing, we've got to change our course of action. We've got to change our perception of how we see this. Yes, this is happening, but that means we have to attack on a different type of level, and we cannot afford that to have our emotions, just rattled. Now, it's funny how places like Facebook and YouTube, they allow all of the graphic of the beating and all of that to take place. But whenever we're speaking of a solution, whenever we're trying to come together collectively and speak intelligently and come together on how we're going to beat this, because we will beat this, and knowing that it's not about us standing in the picking line, it's not about us looting and throwing bottles and and all this type of stuff. Although we're now knowing, and everything is surfacing now, that we have people of other ethnicities coming in and doing that part, and knowing that the finger's going to be pointed back at us. So now that's coming to the forefront. So we can't be on the picking line, we can't be out front, We can't let them see what it is we're planning. Because as long as they can see us, they can control us. As long as they see what we're doing, they can pretty much map out how their plan of attack will be. But when we come off the streets, when we get behind closed doors, when we have our secret meetings or conversations, or we come together and we decide, hey, we about to get our body energy level alkaline up, we about to make it to this fifth and sixth dimension, we got to get our meditation on. This is what we're going to do. We're going to do a group fast, we're going to do a group cleanse, we're going to do a group meditation, we're going to get our minds together, we're going to come together with a plan. All hearts and minds are going to be clear, because when we lay everything out on the table, the plan is going to be flawless. This is what we're going to do. We got our money. We're going to hold our money. We're going to do this. But all minds, hearts have got to be clear. Everything that's out there that we're doing, if we're eating the same way and we're going out on that picket line, our mindset is not going to change. We're a slave to the food. We're a slave to mediocrity. We keep doing the same stuff over and over and expecting a different outcome. And we need to stop walking, being insane sheep, just wandering around, keep doing the same thing over and over. As long as we walking around and still being sheep and holding on to this, to the Bible concept, we're gonna always be easily roped in. All they got to do is bring that little sheepdog in, and we're gonna follow that little sheepdog on out of here. No, it's time out for that. So now we got to change our mindset. We have to change our approach. We have to stop allowing them to see what our next step is going to be. And I'm grateful to hear the voices of some of the people that have been speaking, because what they're talking about is like, yeah, we're not about to do this protest stuff, but we're about to come back in a different way. And people, more and more people are starting to get it. But now, if they incorporate a diet, once the diet changes, the mindset changes, the body will follow. So once we get to that point, and we could really change the course of action, because we'll be activating on a whole totally different frequency that they cannot see, because they don't operate in that frequency. So we got to change our course of direction and how we see stuff and our approach to it. So our approach is going to change when our diets change. Our diets change, our minds would change, our frequency would change. And so their approach, they have to go back. They have to go back and try to see how we're going to do this. But you can't let them see what you're doing. Our approach has to be in stealth mode. As long as they can see us, they can control us. As long as they can see what we're doing, they can control us. But they can't
You know,
control I mean, but literally, if we change it, they can't control us. But we can, and we will prevail, because they already know our strength, which is why they're doing what they're doing. Everything that they're showing, that they keep allowing to play over and over in the news feed on Facebook and this, that, and the other, that's fear. That's to put fear out there so we can get scared, and so we can get angry and just belligerent, and out of control. Because if they can do that, then that right there would give them the right to do what they do. If they loot, shoot, you know. And that's what I have to say. So I'm gonna get off of that right now.
I applaud you, sister, and I applaud Shanae, and I applaud Adizia and King, and uh, and for the people who just joined us out there, uh, welcome to Mental Rolodeck. I'm Rich Lamar, and we're doing this session. This is session one of the explanation is not the explain, based on my book Beyond Thought: Living Without Depression. We changed it up a little bit because of the crisis that's going on, the actual crisis that's going on here. And uh, when I say the explanation is not the explain, that means seeing for yourself what the universe has already explained, not what Europe said, not what science says, or not anything says, but uh, seeing uh, seeing nature and enter over and understanding that you don't need a scripture. But Adisha said something real interesting. She says, "Why do we react so passively?" And in my book I have a section called Mind Games, which is about sorcery evil sorcery and the trickery. I call it the science of deception. That's what the English use. And Adizia was right on point. At one point, the English was very weak, and Napoleon was taking them over. The only thing they had strong was a navy because they had a channel of water that separated them from the rest of Europe. So that's the only way they wasn't conquered as much as the rest of Europe from Napoleon. And what I'm getting at, Napoleon conquered everything, and he went over to Haiti and tried to conquer that. And the Haitians was in the same situation we in. We couldn't match their weapons. They couldn't match Napoleon weapons. They couldn't match Napoleon experience. They couldn't match Napoleon's army. But they defeated Napoleon, the
Mm-hmm.
greatest general in the history of white generals. Napoleon conquered everybody. You can say about any historian. I don't care what you say, or just I don't normally go to statistics and facts, but Napoleon, even though Napoleon was great because he stole things from black generals in North Africa, but that's another story. But Napoleon whipped everybody. The only reason why he didn't annihilate England because of the English Channel and the English Navy, but he conquered them too. But he would have finished them off if he didn't think about going over um, to America and South America. But how did the Haitians beat Napoleon? In my book, I have a section called Mind Games and Christianity. Christianity takes away the spirituality of the black person, of the original person, whatever you want to call it. That's us. We are positive energy. We can't die. There's no death in us. The power of us is the queen, the black woman. It's like a beehive. All the worker bees work for the queen. It's the life of the beehive. Now, if you notice in the Bible, it says the King James Version. This is a science of deception. English wrote this. Shakespeare helped write it.
Mm-hmm.
And this is why the book is so poetic. So, what is you saying, Rich Lamar? If you look at the Bible, it takes away the power of the woman. It don't even put black people in it. But you give it to a slave, and it'll make him passive because it'll take away his spirituality. And that's why when you there's nobody turning the other cheek and following the Bible better than black people globally. The person that gave you the Bible is not following the Bible. We spiritual people. So just like Adisha said, the English said that since they spiritual people, then let's attack them spiritually and take away their power. Because who you give your thoughts to is who you give your power to. So all day long, we live in fear of losing our job. We live in fear of losing that bill. We live in fear of losing our car. We live in fear of not being on time. You can control anybody when they're in fear of losing something. But all day long they advertise stuff for us to get and to build our confidence in something that don't do anything after you get it. So the mind games is what makes us passive. The mind games is what makes us passive because that's the first thing you take away from a person is their psychological, spiritual power, and the rest of the body follows. So you create a crisis and you get them to trust you. You bring them out of that crisis that you created and they trust you more. And this has been perpetuating for hundreds of years. Now that they've stolen everything they could from us, now that they learned everything they could from us, they don't need us anymore. So now we can just finish them off. So we have to do what the Haitians did to Napoleon, go back to our spirituality. And the Napoleon general, when they killed him, they said, "What are we going to do, General? How are we going to finish off Napoleon?" He said, "Napoleon is already on his way out. But I want to tell you right now, everybody is a leader. Don't look at me as your leader or no other general. Everybody is a leader as long as you stay in the spirit of the ancestors and the spirit of you." That's why I put in my book, the science of deception is religion. The science of deception is government. The science of deception is believing in a job. The science of deception is belief itself. Because once I have to believe something, I have to leave the present now. If I know I'm if I'm together now, What the hell I got to believe in something?
So I want to touch base on the fact that, like I said earlier, a lot of the protesting is getting bombarded with um, anarchists, basically. And it's funny, like I'm looking at a poster that says "Get paid up to 200 slash direct action." Open Society Foundations, funded by George Soros. So they're paying people to infiltrate a protest that's supposed to be peaceful, right? And creating ruckuses by setting things on fire. And you, as a so called black person, thinking your people are the ones doing it. And this is how they move. Um, Gaddafi said it. They would create a virus and then turn around and charge you for the vaccination. War pays for them. So what they do, right? They cause situation, then turn around and put a band-aid on it and make it feel like, yo, I'm on your side. I'm rolling with you too. We keep falling for the same loop, the same deception over and over again. But we have to tap into ourselves because we're spiritual people, like Rich stated.
So what is the action of tapping into yourself? This is what my book is about. See, my book is about solutions, not going in circles and asking and asking and asking. So what's the solution in terms of because you know we have to come together at one point to beat this. But I want everybody to hear this because the science of deception separates you from your spirituality. When I was suicidal and sick full of disease and cancer, a doctor and a lawyer did not heal me. The explanation is not to explain. I went back to nature. Nature always has the truth. There's only three things in life that's never going to lie to you: universe, nature, and your body. And no matter how bad a shape your body is in, no matter how bad a shape we in as a people, what you stop is more important than what you seek and trying to start. Once you stop the wrong thing, it heals all by itself. That's the spirit that helped the Haitians defeat Napoleon. Once we stop the wrong thing, the universe takes over for us as we use common sense to maintain ourselves, to sustain ourselves. So Adizia, Sister Pache, Shanae, Jermaine, deep down inside of you, there's been a voice in you all your life that we, and I'm guilty of it also. Deep down inside of us, there's a voice, which is the heart, that we always put aside for something else that we want or we try to control it. And usually the first voice is the heart. The first voice is this ancestor. And then thought comes in and the confusion comes after that. That's why I say we are beyond thought people. The violators are full of thought. Thought is limited. If we attack them spiritually, they will die. The enemy will die. And the abused will never die. See, when we spiritually attack them, only the enemy dies. That was the story of Moses when they said, "There's no way out, Moses. There's a sea of water right there." And so all of the violators said, "Look at Moses. He's a poor general." And Moses looked to the universe. They stole this story from black people because black people looked at all the black mothers out there who made something out of nothing. She'll take a loaf of bread that's one piece left and feed all the kids. She'll go hungry while the family eats because she'll look inside that heart and that voice will tell her what to do. And that sea opens. And by dry land, the people of the Mother Nature children crossed. And when the violator tried to cross it, the sea covered them. This is our story. That's not a Jewish story. See, the science of deception. That'll make a black person believe the story and pray instead of fighting. It'll make you passive because he took you away from your history. So you don't know that that's your story. And the black mother And the black grandmother will take a bag of potatoes and feed the whole family, and she won't even eat because this is what we got to do now. We got to go back to, first of all, we got to stop eating the wrong things and we got to stop listening to them. Whatever they say, we do the opposite. Now, this is not, oh, he's telling a whole plan. Now they're going to know how to deal with it. Whatever I say, the violator cannot defeat us because he's not spiritual. Next question.
It's funny. Like I see a queen tweeted something. She said, "I hate when black people say y'all just give white people one more reason to hate, judge, defame us. I pray for the day you all stop allowing white opinions to govern your lives. Who the fuck told you the white opinion was anything to shape your life slash thoughts?"
Okay, let me answer that since this is question and answer. Um, you're in no position to judge or question us in terms of how we do things. Yes, it's obvious that we have been brainwashed, but we not staying brainwashed. You know, there are some of us that act buffoonery, but we learn that from people like you who don't understand why that happens. See, people like you're a person and you're a human being. You got your rights to criticize, and we got our rights not to run with you and ignore you. But you need to see that the black person was first. That means we're going to be last. So all of these views of what we do, yes, we have been buffoons and we have been niggas and we have been wrong and we have looked bad and we have been looking bad. But that's all over now. So we have an excuse to look bad because we didn't know anything about bad until we was kidnapped and programmed and conditioned. So we've been stripped of everything and we still strong and we made something out of nothing. So we have an excuse to look bad. What's your excuse?
I don't think she actually meant it as a question. It was a statement.
Well,
And
I'm
actually,
answering. Well, all statements and questions I'm answering. This is my platform today.
oh, excuse me, partner.
That's for
Okay.
her, not for you. So anybody out there want to make a
Oh,
statement? Anybody out there that want to make a statement?
why you better say that?
Hey, I got Rich turned up today. I'm sorry, Rich. I make sure everything is well off in the background. All right.
No, because we started all this. The Earth was made for us. We was first. We was put on the continent with the best resources. So what did that say about what the universe thinks of us? If he put us with the best resources,
But what I'm saying though, King, everything you're saying is conscious and balanced, right? But what I'm saying is at the same time when I asked the question earlier, what are we gonna do afterwards, right? Um, See, the thing is, before we just rushed into things with no planning, no formation, right? Some claim we are the number one consumers. Some say we have a 1 trillion spending limit amongst us all, and so on and so forth. And some say, oh, that's a myth. That's not true. Um, but you can pay attention to it. We can pick and choose where we spend our money, how we spend it, or how we move it, right? Frivolous things that we go out and we spend whatever we spend on it is not the same value as its actual worth. Like a pair of kicks, take Jordan for instance, only $16 to make, but the price is spiked for over $200. You know what I'm saying? We're not even going to talk about the air industry that's making billions and billions of dollars off of women. How can you structure your life around doing for yourself? How can you elevate black businesses? Yes, I know that not all black businesses has the most welcoming um customer service and so on and so forth. But the way most of us approach so-called black businesses is not the same we approach other businesses. We don't go to other businesses and say, "Yo, let me get a discount," or "Let me get this." But when it comes to somebody of your ilk and reflection, it's like, "Oh, this is too expensive, this is too much, and so on. We're always looking for a handout, but that's not how business work,
Yeah,
you know.
but see, here's the thing. In my book, I say you must separate from the disorder. See, we've been separated from our spirituality. The universe knows what to do. We're universal. See, we've been separated from our spirituality. When you pick a fruit from the tree, there's not a price tag on it. So there's no need for a monetary system. All that comes from greed. We're in the middle of the passing of greed.
Mm.
We're the only species on earth that's paying to live here. You're not supposed to pay for a damn thing. So all of this putting your tie up and taking your briefcase and your card out, that help divide us. That don't help bring us together. Look, we're being raped right now. We're being raped
Can I
right
add
now.
something? Can I add
And
something? Oh, I'm sorry.
I just
I
want to
was.
say this. Okay,
Go
go
ahead.
ahead.
No, no. If you about to finish, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to cut you off. Go ahead. I'll catch you.
Okay, I'm gonna finish this statement right here.
Okay.
Right now, a man is on top of a woman being raped, and that's we us as the people. When you being raped, you got to get the man off first. You don't. When you're being raped, you ain't thinking about economy. When you're being raped, you ain't thinking about how you going to the market after it. When you're being raped, you ain't thinking about how you're gonna pinch the pennies. You just want the man off of you. Am I right or wrong, Queens?
It's true.
So, so
That's right.
it's just like in an operation. If you're trying to fix a broken leg in an operation and the heart stops, you got to leave the leg to get the heartbeat back. That's the situation we in right now.
Okay. I was just wanting to go back to what King was talking about, King Jermaine, as far as like the black businesses. Uh, I worked at a black boutique, Namzamos. She's been in business for over 34 years. She's been a pillar in the community. She does a Kwanzaa program. We just had our 30th year this past Kwanzaa of Kwanzaa celebration, the largest in the state. Um, One of the things that I used to see when I was working there at the shop, and it still goes on, is that though she's been in business all this time, every season we always get new customers, especially for quote unquote Black History Month, because the black churches, they want to be black that month. So they want the parishioners to wear African attire. So this is a lot of their first times purchasing anything African. Well, we see it every year. It's always something different. That somebody would say, I don't know why we gotta wear this old African coming to America clothes anyway, because that's what they come in to ask. Some people ask, do y'all have coming to America clothes? Um and with the business that she does, we did customized personal service, which means we went in the fitting room with you, we help you get dressed, we because we want you to see how regal you are in the African clothing. But you'd be surprised how many people will come there, dissect her clothes, because she had other stuff too. I call it the church lady suits, and I can get this from Dillard's, and Dillard's have it. Oh girl, she too high. But see, what our people don't realize is when we go into business, we have to get vendors. When you get vendors, some of these vendors, their people make the clothes. And it's a markup there because they know this is a black business. So it's a lot of things that she may get. Price is going to be marked up higher than Dillard's, because Dillard's is a department store, which means her price may be higher. Her price point may be higher because she had to pay more to get it. But we're so foolish and we're so empty headed that when we go into black businesses, we either want to hook up, a handout, we want to complain about the business, you know, even though her disposition is so remarkable, because she sees it time and time again, she'll just say, well, maybe you might want to give it another chance, or maybe this is not for you. But we 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 are so negative to our own that we don't even give ourselves a chance. We're so busy thinking, that if we get something from somewhere else, somehow, some way, that product must be better. When a lot of times they're coming from the same vendor. Um, you
100%
understand what I'm
queen.
saying? Huh?
100%.
Yeah. And but for some strange reason, and I can't remember that story. Who told me that story? And he said he literally watched it. It was a man that had a black man that had a convenience store, and he had to he bag ice and stuff. And the man went and got the bag ice, and he came back and said he wanted his money back because he went to the store across the street. And then he said, "But you got ice. You got the same ice." He said, "No, they ice colder." Talking about the white store, the ice was colder, you know. But we do that.
Program mentality. Program
Program mentality.
mentality. And we're
We
unaware of business and ethics and how it flows. And you're 100% correct on the Dillards getting a better discount, their corporation versus a LLC. See, like if like me, I have a clothing business, and
Mhm.
I know how much stuff costs. Like I can get the same thing Nike has. Like they text and stuff and just put three kings on it. And I know the price of these things because when you're in the industry of apparel, you have to learn these things, right?
Mhm.
I know the actual cost of things that they pay for. They don't know what it takes, but it costs me more to do certain things. Now, if I have an overwhelming amount of money and I could get it in bulk, it'll be cheaper for me, right? But in actuality, that what we fail to understand, it costs more to be poor, and y'all need to look into that.
Mhm.
Well, the statement I want to make is whatever you want to do in life, you got to be free. I don't care if you got 30 businesses. If you don't own the business and you ain't controlling the distribution and the government and it's not yours. We need to totally separate from this government, from this land. This land don't grow. Look, I've eliminated diabetes. I've done a lot of things, and most of the herbs I get is not even from here. We've been conditioned to live with disorder. All we have to do is establish our liberation first, not education. If you look at George Washington, did you think he thought about the king when he wanted to revolutionize and come over here? Somebody said, "Give me liberty or give me death," because they knew once they get liberation, they can create their own damn education and businesses. Once we free, we create a business that blow all of this stuff out of the water. We just want to be free. A woman is being raped. She just need that person offer her, and she will complete the rest of her life. You have to be free first, spiritually, then everything else will follow. We can't think about the distribution and what are we gonna do about this business, and because it's under the same system that's beating you down. It's
Okay,
like
Rich,
rent. It's like renting.
I got a question for you, Rich. I hear what you're saying, and this is how other people think, right? So let me put myself in the mind of most of these people, right? Like it's nice what you're saying. This is what they're saying, by the way. It's nice what you're saying, right? But some of them are looking at it like, okay, we're in the disorder because we got to feed our children, right? So it's easier said than done. That's the same escape they always use. It's easier said than done. I said it earlier. Some people like the suffering, they like the system, they like to be programmed, right? Okay, freedom may have its price, right? Once you separate, you create your own business. Whose monetary funds are you using to actually establish yourself in a separation? These are things people look at. We're not
Yep.
we're not dumb peoples. We're very articulate in every which way, no matter how they paint us.
Let me say this. What I'm saying, people that know me, they know I talk to people like a father and this and that. And please forgive me if I don't mean any disrespect. I don't know everything and nobody knows everything. But Adesha, you're over there in London, right?
Yep. Yep.
People don't. People are not aware that the Queen of England has to get permission to go to London. The Queen, and what I'm saying is, London is the hub of white supremacy. The Queen
Yeah.
herself has to get permission. Am I right or wrong, Adesha?
I had no idea. I was surprised when you said that. Does she?
But check this out. When George Washington left England, you thought he gave a damn about who was with him or who wasn't? He took what he had. This platform that we on, mental Rolodeck, I don't care if only just us know the truth, because just us is going to win. See, evil didn't create this. We've been so brainwashed to be controlled by fear and what if. If you take what if out of your head, worry will go with it. Freedom is everything. To be free is not an issue, it's the issue. And so it don't come easy. It don't come easy. Freedom is not a push button. Freedom is not a microwave. You got to get down and dirty. You got some of us might not make it. When George Washington left, he said some of us might not make it, but our generations are going to be free. See, we got to think about generations not right now, because let me tell you, Jermaine makes a great point, because half of the people that's not making a move, they got responsibilities, they got children, they got stakes in, they got businesses they waiting on, they got things they want in the clear after all this crisis is out. But what they don't realize, the same system will pacify you with a check and a loan, but it's still a system of debt. See, the universe is trying to tell us you got to be free from this disorder. And freedom don't come with shaking a hand. It comes with breaking hands and breaking your traditions and 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 saying no when you want to say yes and saying yes when you want to say no. People read these books and they think George Washington crossed the river and he won. No, it was people raped and people, all of this stuff went on because freedom is not easy. See, the thing that really scares us is not the future. It's thinking of what we think we have. See, we think we have something. We think we got something going on. Yeah, we get scared, but we're not cowards. But we think we're gonna lose or something that we think we have, but we don't have it. Trump told everybody. He says, what if the black what if the African American vote don't follow you? Trump said, what do they have to lose? He's telling you that the system is going to make sure you don't have nothing. You're not bona fide. You're not qualified. As long as you're here, you just chicken fried. You chicken fried steak. And they showing you every time they beat you down the street. And we don't want to hear this, but we got to hear this. Because let me tell you, there's nothing stronger than a person that's working for their kids. They just holding on till they can't hold on no more. The universe knew not to give me no children because they knew I wasn't strong enough. But the people that have kids out there, like Jermaine and Shanae, they know that, you know, they're not thinking of just them. But we as a people, we have to be free. And that's what my book means. You have to, when you have to have a healthy body, you got to free yourself from the chicken and the meat. It was hard for me to stop eating chicken. I can brag like I'm Mr. Big now, but I used to sneak chicken in my pocket in my own apartment. People thought my church was church's chicken. It, it's hot. But queens and kings, we can
Can't do
we
it with you,
you,
Vic. You can't.
kings and queens, just look at this for a minute. Deep down in your side, deep down in your hearts, y'all know we in a war that we got to fight now. Y'all know deep down, whether Rich Lamar is right or wrong, y'all know deep down in your heart, we got to throw some blows. Am I right or wrong? Whichever way
You're
possible,
right.
whichever way possible, we got to do it, because freedom don't come easy. But we're conditioned that George Washington crossed the bridge and all we got to do is raise our flag. But they didn't tell you how many black people helped them beat the British when they came over.
Hmm.
He didn't bring all of England with him. They did what Adija said. They brainwashed the people to fight for them, and then they made them slaves again. That is the science of
Mm-hmm.
deception.
That's it.
And they're doing the same thing with us. But one thing they overlooking, kings and queens, that's what my book is
Mhm.
about. We spiritual. We just have to go back to our spirituality. But how do we do that? We have to stop the Christianity and the chicken. It sounds too simple.
Christian chicken.
I mean, y'all know that. But the people out there be like, I can't believe they got that fool on there talking about stopping Christianity and chicken. And they eating chicken and reading their Bible as they listening.
Especially on
Mhm.
Sunday. Today's
On
chicken
Sunday,
day.
yeah, today is Sunday dinner.
This Sunday fried chicken.
Blessings and gratitude to Jermaine and Mental Rolodeck because I wouldn't have this platform. We wouldn't have this platform without Jermaine. But the universe moved Jermaine to do this.
That's
The
right.
universe, the universe
Right.
moved Shay to
Yeah.
come to join us. The universe moved Adija and Shanae to come here. I don't care if it's just the five of us, y'all. We'll defeat all of this because we got enough spirit to do it.
Hmm.
We got enough spirit to do it. And believe me, every day brings change. And you'll wake up and you'll be like, ah, that's it. You ever woke up and be like, ah, that's it. Let me do this. Let me do that.
Mm-hmm.
And you'd be like, that's what's going to happen to us now. But they trying to use scare tactics. They trying to bait us. They saying, well, the looters, the shooting gonna stop when the looting stops. See, they trying to bait us and to get us all shot up without us coming back and getting spiritual.
Yeah.
I know it looks bleak. I know it looks bad. But look, I don't care how bad it looks, kings and queens. At one time, we were slaves set free to nothing, and we made something. If the slaves can do it without cell phones and all that, and they had their own Wall Street, and by the 1920s they had their own communities and all of that, what you think we can do if we go back to our spirituality? They didn't even have no money. They had nothing. Y'all know that the grandmother feed everybody, and we'd be at the table and be like, man, how does she do it? How does she do it? You know the black mothers that sometimes they'll fix food and they won't even eat themselves.
Hmm.
They'll take the meat that's left on the chicken bone and feed everybody. We can still do it, but we caught up in what Trump's saying. We caught up in what the Bible's saying. We caught up. Our perception is being managed. But no matter what happens, it's not going to stop the earth from turning. The bombs ain't going to stop. Bob Marley said the atomic bomb is not going to eliminate the earth from moving and progress. We're not scared. We're just scared of losing what we think we have, which is nothing but this freedom,
Can you do a double take on that? We're afraid to lose what we have, which is what?
which is nothing.
Because we own.
Nothing.
Okay.
We own nothing. We just paying for privilege. Look, if a person don't pay the if they people tell me, well, I own my house, Mr. Lamar. I own my car. I said, okay, don't register it, don't pay your water, and don't pay your taxes, and you see who own that house and car.
Real
That's
quick,
right.
real. That's right.
I wonder if y'all are aware that The Simpsons has actually predicted every crisis that pretty much occurred through a society. Like in the 1990s, who knew they had an episode that said that has the police putting his foot on a black man's neck and have Lisa Simpson out there say justice for George?
What?
You know,
Does somebody have a time machine? Or Baba's
Wow.
starting to look like he's saying now, like everything he utters is true. Sincerely, look it up. 1990s. There's an episode. Same
this,
killing.
this is what they do. They play us like a video game. They play
Hmm.
us. They like making a mockery out of us. That's why they say I grew up in the music business. I met Prince. Prince made a song called "Let's Go Crazy." There's a
Yeah.
line in there there's a line in there that says, "We're not gonna let the elevator take us down. Let's go crazy," right?
Mhm.
Now, the original lyric was, "We're not gonna let the devil's supremacy bring us down." They made him change it. They made him change it, and he changed it to the elevator. And they found Prince dead in the elevator. You see the mockery that they use?
Wow.
And Colin Kaepernick is kneeling, and he brings the awareness to everybody and cause problems for the NFL and the white people's money. And if you look at that picture of that policeman kneeling down on that man's neck, don't you see him posing for the picture?
Yes, he is with his hand in his pocket.
This is
Didn't
what we
the
use.
so-called black people that was on the balcony with Martin Luther King was looking the other way, posing for the picture as well?
Yes,
Mm.
Setups.
correct.
Mm-hmm.
At the head of all of these organizations, right, is a white face. They're
But you
always in
know
the
what?
mix.
This is what we in, kings and queens. We dealing with, Adisha said it so clearly. We dealing with somebody who, see, in my book I call it the science of deception. We're dealing with mad scientists, right, Adisha?
Yep. He uses his brain.
He uses his brain. And you know, if you got the right brain, you could talk somebody out of shooting you,
Yep.
But why aren't we using ours?
because ours is brainwashed. Our brain is their brain. We
It's
have a
not easy to
European
come out
mindset.
of it's not easy to come out of a mental conditioning that's been going on for generations. It isn't something that
Mm-hmm.
can just be done just like that.
Right.
You're right, Queen. But look, there's 5 people on here, right? And everybody on here is aware.
But look at our ages, look at our lifestyles, look at it's not as if it's five people who are my age and we all grew up same, like, do you know what I mean? There's reasons, there's spirit, there's we could be 100 years old in spirit, while other people who seem to be behind are like five in spirit. We don't know.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But here's the thing though. There's a herb out there that changes the mind. Every dawn, we change a little. If we didn't change a little, we would never get gray or get slower. If we didn't change a little, we would never get fatter or skinny. See, when I met Prince, when I met Stevie Wonder, when I met Dr. Sabi, I took their energy. I made sure I touched them. When Shay met the Queen, I said, Shay, make sure you touch her.
Yes, you
I
did.
took this, I took this energy. Now that might sound simple, that might sound strange, but Dr. Sabi healed more people
Hey,
than any of these businesses. And my point is, Dr. Sabi said himself, he said there's places in Africa the white man dare not touch. There's herbs that he dare not need you to know about.
hey,
And see,
Rich.
this is what they're separating us from
Oh
when it
man, hey,
comes to
Rich.
us.
It's 2 days in a row, right?
Huh?
What?
It's 2 days in a row.
You're not about to say what you're about to say, are you?
I'm not gonna say it. Keep talking, Rich. We we got a few minutes left. I'm not, yeah, but y'all know what I'm talking about. It's 2 days in a row.
I don't
Oh,
get it.
oh, oh, yeah, yeah, yeah. I know what he's talking about.
I
Uh,
You don't get it,
You know,
Queen? YouTube
No.
took the video down.
Oh,
no.
what video?
This that's
Oh.
going on right now.
Uh-oh.
Everything that runs through Facebook, I
Wow.
actually have it run through YouTube as well. And this is the second day. They did it yesterday and they did it just now.
Oh, Rich about to go off.
look, they look. If they watching me, they watching y'all. I've gotten death threats. See, I don't have kids. I don't have kids or grandkids. I ain't afraid to die.
yes, indeed.
It's fine.
Yeah,
I
look,
have my
just
way
for
to I have
timing.
my way to get it on there, so it doesn't really make a difference. They can do it
Hey,
on
but
their
look,
stuff.
what did I say not too long ago? I said the five of us can do it. The five of
Hmm.
us can do it, and by YouTube, well, by YouTube snatching it off. You see how the spirit can control a bullet and anything else, if you have just people spiritually together, you change everything. That's what music does. That's what music does. Music is so powerful. It just creates a vibration, and this is what this platform is doing. I mean, this is called the explanation is not explained, but I'm flipping the script a little bit because I want the spirit of everybody here. I want the queens to talk to the queens out there listening. Because YouTube, guess what? Since you're listening, and I'm gonna say it for myself, come shoot me, don't shoot them. Because look, the queens out there are gonna have a message for the queens. Because the spirit is gonna lead them to talk to them. And you can't kill us because we're gonna create our new YouTube. You're just giving us incentive to make our own YouTube. The hell with you.
Love.
Period.
Period. You know, if you queens feel something on your heart to say to the queens out there, because you know it's queens out there that's confused and they crying. And when I started the show, it's a shame that I'm gonna write a letter and put it on Facebook and YouTube. It's a shame that YouTube took us off because we started the show giving our condolences to the victims, did we not? See?
I have something to say to the queens. I don't feel like this isn't the time for us to be crying or to feel upset or anything like that. There's something that we used to do when we back in the day, whether you believe you're indigenous or from Africa, it doesn't matter at this point. We're all brown in it. Like, there's something we used to do back in the day when our men were going to war, and that would be the war cry. We would fill their hearts, fill their spirits with our voices alone, our voices. We would sing, we would dance, we would chant around them. And we would have to fill our own hearts with that war cry, because you have to remember our sons, our brothers, our husbands are going to war. They could potentially not be going back. But we had the strength to fill them with the spirit in order for them to go to war, fight, and come back. This is not the time to be getting emotional or being emotional in a way of sadness or crying and so on. No, fill your heart with a little bit of, fill your heart with some anger, fill your heart with some sort of spirit of war. This ain't the time for emotions and crying. It's not the time.
Mhm.
That's beautiful. That's beautiful.
That's
And
good.
somebody needed to hear that. See, we working on spirit, y'all. This is how we gonna fight back. This is how we gonna fight back. Somebody need to hear that because everything that you queens say, everything we say from now on until this show is over is going to be need to be said by the universe because we just put the universe in control and not YouTube or anybody else. This is how the spirit works because none of us knew each other 5 years ago,
Mhm.
and we're
Mhm.
together now for a reason. We together now for a reason. Let's start. The explanation is not to explain. We going with what created this universe, not what created this country. So all of you that want to talk about, well, they just talking that stuff and this and that, then you die with them. You stay here and die with them then. If you can't let go of Massa, then die with Massa. Because Massa already let you go. You haven't let Massa go. We let Massa go. We're gonna eat right, therefore we're gonna think right. And no matter how bad, look, tomorrow is not a fact. So the so-called leaders, Trump or whatever they name are or whatever they do, the earth can create a whole new species tomorrow. The the earthquake can come and bury America. You've abused Mother Earth all these years and her children. You got the audacity. You have the audacity to kill people and murder people on video. All of that authority is false. How can
And
you
then
call
to
yourself?
think, go on.
No, go ahead, Deja.
And then to think that there's no consequence for those sorts of actions. Do you really think there's nothing else out there other than you? Like you're
Hello,
the highest being in the whole universe, that you can do what the hell you want and no consequence is going to come back to me. That's what baffles me.
hello.
That's what
Say that.
baffles me.
You need to repeat that.
Said they feel like they can do all they do, like they're the highest being in the whole universe, that they can commit so many atrocities and there's not going to be any consequence coming back to them. Because if they think there was a consequence, they wouldn't do this. They don't.
Beautiful. Hey, check this out, queens and queens. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yes.
Check
Yes.
this out.
Queens
Anything
and
that we
queens.
kings and queens,
Okay.
anything that you put out in the universe, it comes back.
Mm-hmm.
And people, when I used to do these lectures live, people would say, "Well, why haven't white supremacy and all the people that do evil get it back?" I said, "Because we're protecting them. They're in debt. We're in debt. They're not in debt. We're the worker bees. The people that's running things, they don't know enough. They don't even know how to spell job. All we have to do is stop feeding them, and they die. Their life is unnaturally prolonged." But Adisha hit it on point. You can't do all this evil and not expect to get it back. But they don't put on the news how they suffer from all the skin disease and the cancers. That's why they go to Jamaica and take over Jamaica and take all the herbs and make sure they live a long time, because they taking the Jamaican herbs they learn from they, like Adisha said, they'll be friends with the people that know about the herbs, and then after they get all what they can get out of them,
Mm-hmm.
they kill them.
Mm-hmm.
You think they went over there to Africa and you see them showing the lions and the giraffe and all these great videos of the animal life there. They take an African, and the African will show them where the animal is. I seen an African show a guy, he didn't even know what he was doing. He just had a camera and stuff. He said, "Look, the badger is here," and the badger, just by the footprints, he said the badger is going to the honey tree. Then he's going over there to where the snake den is, and he has a cub with him, just by the footprints. And then the European that learn all of this from the African don't even pay him. They go write it down and put it in a university and tell you about uh, how to do safari. Don't even give them credit.
Jack Daniels. How many years they've been making alcohol and making it seem like it was there? Then they finally came out in 2019 and said it was a black man behind the recipe.
Uncle Nearest. That's right.
Come
Look,
on, man.
so all we
They've been
did
doing this. They've been doing this for a while, King. And that's
for
what
a
I mean by
while.
it. And that's what I mean by we do the same thing over and over again. They tell you you're not shit. You have no value. You don't this, that, and a third. When in actuality, they're getting everything from you, spirituality and all of that. Let's take it to a deeper level and go metaphysical.
Yes,
They got you scared about death.
yes,
You even forget that your energy continues and it prolongs.
That's right.
yes,
You know, you don't know nothing about that. You're running from it because you're so used to being in control, but you're not really in control. Everything that you actually ingest is controlled by somebody else. When was the last time you actually spoke to you? Speak to the God within yourself.
yes,
Like
Mm-hmm.
it's weird as shit because some people be like, "Oh, it's blasphemy. He's saying he's a god." Yeah, I am a god.
yes.
Why
You
I
would
am.
are a
I not
guy.
say it? We're
We
all
all are.
gods.
Mhm.
Yes.
The same
It's because
energy.
of how they
I am.
taught us what a god is. I think that's why
Right.
everyone sees it as spooky. They see when we say we're gods, they see it as, oh well, why can't you lift up that tree without touching it then?
Because
That's what they think about it.
we're not in our rightful self. We're not eating right. We don't have the actual things that we once used to have. How you think they build the pyramids? They didn't have machines.
Mm.
We can do these things. But
Mm-hmm.
guess what? Fear keeps us away from ourselves.
Yes. And The book is called, for those of you out there, the book is called Beyond Thought: Living Without Hurt and Depression. I talk this way, I live this way because I was dead. I was dead. Yes, dead. Because I lived in disorder my whole life. And there's no death unless there's disorder. So I was dead. I had a look, if you dead and you had a chance to come back to life, you want to touch and talk to everybody. And I was dead. And that means that all these beautiful people that's on this platform, they see it too. It's been with us all our lives. I'm not saying anything that nobody doesn't know. It's just when you're so busy in society, how can you get in touch with yourself? How can you get in touch with you when you worried about the bills and you got to be on time? Everything is on time. You living in a made up reality. How are you going to
Mm-hmm.
see you trying to live in a reality that's never going to be fixed? See, that's what they don't tell you. We always looking for a conclusion. We always seeking something that can't be found by seeking.
Rich, do one better. How can you silence yourself if you're living in noise and chaos
Yes.
every single day? Like we become and became so numb to the noise where it's natural for us. We don't even see that it's noise or chaos. We,
Mm.
we
You
we
don't see
create
it.
these things. Oh, that's my ego. That's not me. You're real. You're vibrational. You're energy. You're a god. Don't
Yes.
let nobody tell you anything different. If somebody come to you and tell you a piece of shit, that's their fucking energy. That don't belong to you. Learn how to separate. Stop holding on to things. We attach to things that don't belong to us at
Mm-hmm.
all. We're not even following the way we were raised. We have cultures. I'm from Jamaica. We have cultures and we take our culture for granted. There's so much things that will straighten you. Something as simple as walking outside barefooted and sitting in the sun and gazing electrifies the body. Y'all don't even know how deep that is because you're stuck in a system that want to block out the sun. But that's how you get your vitamin and your energy. Because without the sun, there's no life.
I tell you right now, the light that's in us must be magnified. And people say, well, how do you do that? I said, first of all,
Meditation.
we're conditioned to say how. Never ask how, because how will take you away from you. How will lead you to dependency. Ask why. If you don't want to ask why, ask what is the action that magnifies the light in me. If Sister Pache and Shanae and Adijah said, okay, look, tomorrow I'm leaving. I'm tired of being sick and tired because everything I do is never enough. So I'm gonna leave this job. I'm gonna take what I can take, and I'm going to this coast, this coastal bay. If they did that, the universe will make a way. Because once you put aside the violator's way, the universe takes over. I live this way. Nothing they have, I'm interested in. I don't have a car. I don't have a TV because I gave it away. I'm not interested in nothing you have. That's why the universe makes a way for me. I don't mind dying because you killing me anyway. Because my car, my TV, everything I had was debt, 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 debt. The hell with you, your car, your TV, your country, and all that. Because the whole thing is a lie. And it's a shame I got to be 50 years old to find this out. Because they start you off early. I got to get a job. You're 18 years old. Got me a job, got me a car. Oh, shoot, I got a flat. Oh, I got to wait a week now because I get my check and get another thing. And it never ends. They got that carrot in front of you like a dog in a dog race. You think you're going to get it, but you never get it.
Never gonna get it, never gonna get it.
Yes.
And those of you out there who listen to me, bogged down about a job, look, if you work a job, People tell me, well, I got 2 jobs. You tell me somebody with 2 jobs, I tell you somebody that's broke. The second job is not going to help. And if you leave the first job, it's just going to be the same game, different name, and another job. You got to be free. You got to make a job out of your talents. Do what you love to do. I don't care if it's a nickel a month. Do that until you're able to leave the other job. But refuse to work under pressure. Because as long as they got you under pressure, they got you. As long as they got you under stress and pressure, they got you. And if you leave stress and pressure, believe me, the universe will make a way where it's less stressful where you go next.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody got a breaking point to where they know they can't leave a job, but they walk in there and that motherfucker over there that always fuck with you, that always somehow wind up being a white person.
Fam, fam, you're not saying nothing. Within 8 months, I made 85 grand. I could have made 110, right? I've been at this place for a year plus. Like the upcoming January would have been 2 years. I was so frustrated, right? I got on the phone and I called my kid's mom and I said, "Yo, listen, I'm quitting today. I'm just letting you know that. That's just me giving you a heads up. Bear with me for right now." And I walked off that shit. When I
Mm,
walked off that job, it felt
mm-hmm.
like 100 pounds lift off of me.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
A job is necessary, but it's what you use the job for versus actually allowing the job to use you. I say this, and me and my mans and them talk about this a lot. How can you get comfortable on something that don't belong to you?
That's it.
Look, when you work a job, I hate jobs. And I hate to tell the young people that because the people that hire me to talk to them when I used to talk to them be like, well, we're trying to inspire the kids to be hard workers or that. I said, be a hard worker at what you do best. Don't be an extension of somebody else's idea. That's what a job is. You're just a pair of pliers. You're a human being. You're free and flexible. You're not a pair of pliers. They'll get rid of you and find another pair of pliers after you wear out. They don't
Mm-hmm.
give a damn about you. But I need this money. All money ain't good money. Well, I need my job. I was like, when people lost their jobs and they took the COVID down, where your jobs and stuff now? Where your clothes at? You all dressed up. You ain't got nowhere to go. Everything closed.
Hey, Rich, KRS once said it the best. He said, "When you're in turmoil, and when you leave your job and you're at home with yourself, you find out how great you really are.
Mm-hmm.
When you separate
Mm-hmm.
from your job and you're in turmoil, you find out how great you really are because you have to look within. You got to look at this. A job is a necessity, it's needed. But guess what? The terminology stands for just over broke. You're above the poverty line. And everything costs you more to be broke. In order for you to be amongst the top class, you have to make 130, 160 racks every year for you to fall into that category. Now look at yourself. How many of y'all actually make above the poverty line?
And here's another thing. See, when I was sick and thinking about taking myself out, I didn't want to wait no more. I knew what a job would do. I was like, damn, I got to get a job. Now, for most people, that's not a problem. But for me, it was a problem because I hated jobs. Because I was a musician most of my life. I left good jobs, post office, FedEx, good jobs. I hated it. I don't care how much money I made. I just didn't feel free. But I noticed that every time I took away my fear from leaving a job, the universe put me in a more peaceful place. Might not have been as much as the money, but it always seen me through. But when I got sick and suicidal and I got through that, I noticed that the universe comes through for you. You don't know,
Mm-hmm.
you don't know exactly how it happens, whatever happens. Me and Sister Shay been friends before I met all of you. I
Mm-hmm.
used to tell Sister Say about certain situations. I said, Sister Say, we don't see it now, But wait till you make the move. See, the first step in my book, I put the first step is the last step. Once you take the first step, the universe is going to finish it. That's what I mean by the solution is always in the problem. If you hate something or being somewhere, then you get out of there. And the universe will put you somewhere better, somewhere where you can gather everything. I know it's hard. It's the hardest thing to do because I got this bill, I got that bill, I got this bill, and people tell me, "Well, what if I leave my job? What if I leave my job? I can't leave my job." I said, "Well, what if your job leave you?" And the people that was in those twin towers that went down, did you see the footage of them jumping out the window? They thought they had a good job. I've been to New York. You couldn't see the top of them towers if you stood under them. And them people that went in them buildings, they looked at you like, "I'm working at the Twin Towers. You wish you had a job in Manhattan?" I wonder was they thinking the same thing when they was falling the 85 stories. See, we caught up in the system where we think we ain't something until we get some money. But right now they're killing us and beating us down. So we have to go back to spiritual. I'm not telling people to leave their jobs or do this. I'm just telling them to look at it. Because when Shanae stomach hurt and Adija, Pache, when y'all hurt, only y'all feel it. But deep down inside, there's a voice that's telling you right now what's right and wrong with your job, with your man, with your people, with all of this. You don't need no lawyer. You don't need no Rich Lamar. You don't need no money. All you need is to really look at that voice. Because that voice, see, we can fool the church, we can fool the lies, we can fool YouTube, we can fool the government, but you can't fool your universe and yourself. You know when you're lying. You know when you're living a lie. You know when you're scared.
Because guess what? Your unconscious is gonna fuck you up when you're in that room by yourself.
By yourself. I mean, I seen that. It was like death sitting there. It was like death was in front of me, like, go ahead and do it. You ain't shit. You fat. You see, it was just like that. It was scary. It was the most
That's
scariest
funny.
thing.
Color purple.
I'm telling you, it was the most scary, and I was ready to take myself out, and it was like death was sitting across from me, saying, "Go ahead, do it. See, you're too much of a coward to even do that. You fat. You sick. You broke. Your woman leaving you. What you got to live for anyway?" It was a scary. It was if there's a devil, that was it, and I really had nothing to live for. But that's what I mean. You never alone, because something stopped me. Because all that was true. I was fat, sick, won't leaving me, and I had cancer. I had um, no job. I was broke. Money was running out. So the only answer was take myself out. But you're never alone. I just kept looking at the sun. And it's the same thing with people. People are in it. I'm telling you, this is where these jobs. The only thing you need is the universe. Once you get what you need, you can get your wants on your own. But there's people out there that's at these jobs and they catching hell, and catching hell, even if they got a job.
Hey, but peep this though, right? While y'all stuck on King's passing and this protesting that's going on, what are you saying about the actual corporations that just got a $500 billion bailout? Isn't that the biggest looting if you've ever
Wow.
seen one? And what's going on behind the scenes, how things are moving. amongst corporations and so on and so forth.
Wow. You see, they doing their thing, y'all. They doing their thing.
Wow.
But in my book, I state fellowship. Fellowship is so. What we doing on this platform, the Mental Rolodeck, is the greatest platform out there because fellowship. See, when you have fellowship, see, if I had fellowship at that time, I wouldn't have been sitting there discussing how I'm gonna take myself out with death. See, fellowship is a big thing because when your friend is broke, you can help them with fellowship. When somebody's in pain, you can sit next to them and give them some herbs with fellowship. When somebody can't see their way out, you can sit with them and help them to see with fellowship. But if you work in a job and you feel with conflict and the bills is due and you ain't got enough, how in the hell are you gonna have some fellowship with somebody? They in your way. If they ain't got no money, they don't make no sense. Can you help me with some money? Oh, sit down. How you doing, man? But the real fellowship. That's why everybody loved that mother and that grandmother. Because after the world rejects you in this fake ass society that they created, the grandmother be here. Sit down, child. What you need? Go under my mattress and bring me my bag. That's why when mama and grandmama leave, that's somebody that's left. That's some fellowship that you need. And black people, we got to go back to that by helping each other. All we need is fellowship. Then
Speaking of
nobody
that,
would be worried about leaving no job.
how many people actually sit down and actually speak to their grandparents and try to learn their story and what they have been through and elevate themselves using their experiences.
They lost these cell phones take them away from fellowship. The young kids. That's why when we do our youth live, you got to talk to the elders because the ancestors talk to them. We got to have fellowship. See, if you got fellowship, you ain't worried about leaving the job because you got so and so that's going to help. When Martin Luther King and them when they boycotted, everybody took a van and a car. They drove each other to work. That's what we do. That's what we do, and that's what we going back to. The fellowship.
Is that
Most
what you're
black,
closing on?
yeah, I will close on fellowship, and like I said, we switched it up today because of the crisis that's going on, and the great thing about I'll finish it up like this. The great thing about Mental Rolodeck, I can't speak for everybody, but I feel and see that this is a special platform because not just because I'm on it and my friends are on it. It's just I think what's ever said on this platform, the universe is touching people with it. And I want everybody to say something before we go off. That's all I'm gonna say.
Okay, I'll go ahead and go. I'm gonna um I'm gonna stay with the fellowship end of it and build on what Jermaine had the point he made in speaking to the elders. And what I'll say is, even though many of the elders are quote unquote brainwashed, if you do sit down with them and you have a conversation with them, they will go beyond the surface with you. They will bring up certain experiences from their childhoods in their past that are still relevant to the current time. So that is huge. I've sat down and had a lot of conversations with my grandparents, and it would be key things. It take them a long time to get to their point, but there's key factors in their stories that are relevant now that can be used. I mean, the way that we're holistic now, they were always holistic. Even though they took hold of pork and all those other bad eating habits, they were still very holistic. There's times I can go to my grandmother now and something's going on with me, and she'll know exactly what to go to things that we're just discovering. So Jermaine was absolutely right. More conversations need to be had. And really, it's about just spending some time with those elders and letting them start talking. And once they start talking, they start revealing things that we can use currently. So yeah, that's a fellowship that definitely needs to take place.
That's beautiful, sister. And the fellowship all the way around. Shanae was absolutely correct. But she was correct also earlier that a lot of our elders was raised up in that colonized mindset, that slavery mindset. Because some of the elders would say, "Well, I hope you find some good white people to work for." If you old enough, they would used to say that. But deep down inside their heart, they still hold the spirit of the ancestors and the spirit of they have fellowship with you. They look if the older people knew what was wrong with the food and what was wrong with government, they wouldn't talk about Jesus and that if they knew they was brainwashed. But deep down inside, they love us. Deep down
They do.
inside, that fellowship is there.
Some of my first spirituality I learned, I didn't know it was spirituality at that time when I was a child. As the elders had to do everything in secrecy because they cared about how they looked. They cared about what people thought of them, especially if they were strong Christians. And I didn't know that this was spirituality, but my grandmother would go in secrecy and she would get tarot readings in secrecy. And I never said anything. I didn't know. I was just with her and I just thought it was somebody throwing cards at her. But now, here we are in the present moment, and that was my first instance, or my first knowledge of spirituality. I just didn't know that. So it's always been there with the elders. It's always been with them.
Yeah, it bends with them. And you know, Adesia is in a real interesting place because the history of London is a history of a science of deception, but there's some great things come out of London too. And the people that's listening, I don't attack religion in that. I know it may sound real bad in that. It's just black people are passionate. I'm not prejudiced or against white people or Jews or anything. I'm just speaking the facts. I'm just speaking what's being shown to me. All white people are not bad. All you can't say all anything when it comes to bad.
Why do we
It's
have to
just
emphasize
it's
that?
it's just it's just it's just unfortunate that the people that's running things are bad. And the people that are running things it created something called that I call the science of deception. All
Why
people not bad, but the people that's running things are bad.
why is it when we are focused on ourselves, we always have to say stuff like that? Why is
No,
it we can't focus on ourselves? I get you, King. Like I'm not saying, but this is something with us.
mm,
Why can't we focus on what's going on with us versus somebody else feeling some type of way like, oh, our life matters, all life matters. Like, why we can't focus on what we do? Because everybody else is focused on their race. Why
well,
is it a
I'm
problem
not. But
when
I don't think that's right because I don't think that's right. I'm a balanced person. I would be a fool to say that all people bad. When I talk for the world and how I see it and feel it. Now, it's some. I'm saying the people. I'm saying facts. The people that's running things is bad, but all people are not bad. That's a fact.
no no no
Now,
no.
I'm not saying that to because I know why you brought it up, King. But we in a situation right now to where everybody's being fooled. That's just a fact. Now, black people ain't the only black people suffering, and I'm not saying that to try to push up to whitey or whatever. But I'm just saying white supremacy is public enemy number one, and it's not black people's fault. Black people, nobody's helping black people, so we got to help ourselves. But the earth is home for all of us. The sun shines on the dog's ass. Water and air is for everybody. That's a fact. Black supremacy is just as dangerous as white supremacy.
We
We
get
have
all
to
that.
learn to live together.
We get all that, and you're 100% correct. But look what I'm saying. You always say go to the deeper level, right? Why is it such a problem for us when we focus on us, right? There's infiltration on us focusing on us. Why is that? Why you want to stop that? Why are you so focused on us coming together, us connecting? What is the deeper threat? Why is it a threat to you? That's what I'm saying in general. Because everybody always wanna be so-called black until it's time to be black. Everybody be like, oh, they're so separated. Oh, they're so angry. Oh, they kill each other. When we're not killing each other and we're focusing on what the issue really is, that's a problem too. So what are they telling you? You're more powerful than you actually know. And I'm gonna end with that.
Well, DJ, you have something to say?
Nah, nah. You guys make good points.
Yeah, we as a people, we gotta come together and do it because nobody's gonna do it for us.
Uh, if nobody else have anything to say, I'm gonna close like this.
Where's
And
Sister Shay at?
um, she had something to take care of. Um, and gratitude for you, Queen, for showing up. Gratitude to you, beautiful queens that's still here with us, and gratitude, King. I know it's your show, but I'm gonna close it like this. Every single day, we walk past the mirror, or sometimes we even stop in front of the mirror and we focus on the surface base of ourselves. One thing the mirror doesn't show you is the inward light and power that you have within you. The more we focus on emotions and allow the emotions to run us ragged, the more we're distorted, the more we missing the bigger picture. The more we dance to noise, the less time we spend with self. Remaining still will show you who you really are as a vibrational being. We're vibrational. We're not solid. Stand or sit, whichever way comfortable, and meditate. Yes, you're not going to silence your consciousness, your brain. You're not going to silence it. But meditate, relax, breathe. It's not illegal yet. Think it's not illegal yet. Connect with other people. You're not an island. No one is. And like Rich stated earlier, I'm going to put it another way, like Bob Marley said, when it rains on one man's house, it rains on everyone's house. You are the change from you to your children, and you have to protect them. Protect the queen. Protect yourself. Inner, over, and outer stand who you really are. Your ancestors is with you. You're great. You're great. Be great. You don't need me to tell you you're great. No, feel that you're great. Shut the TV off. Connect with your family. Meditate together. It's a lot more powerful. And that's all I'm going to say. And with that, I say thank you for those of you that participated, those of you that actually watch on a regular basis. And for those of you that's a part of the show, for the newest members out there, homage for always coming through. Oh, and gratitude, YouTube.
Yeah,
Appreciate you.
thank you, YouTube, because you had me. You always encourage me.
It's warranted. We're doing something great, and you're not going to stop it because I know how to go inward. And the change I'm trying to make, or aim to make within my life, it starts within me. I'm not one of those that chase what's outside. I can care less about material things. I look at connection as being a deeper thing for me. And with that, a pleasant night to you.
Wait, tell them where they can get the book.
Oh yeah.
You a real piece of work.
Go to Amazon, Google um, Beyond Th- Beyond Thought by Rich Lamar, and purchase the book. Next week we'll be talking more about the book, but because of the crisis, we did it this way.
And don't be afraid to pretty much ask questions. If you need answers, ask questions. There's someone on this platform that can guide you to the answers that you need. Trust and believe me. Trust and believe me. This is about to be way greater than you actually think it is. I love the quality. Never settle for quantity.
Mm.
With that being said, go to Amazon, get the book, or for $10, you can call Rich personally and he will send you a digital copy. You can swipe on your tablet, left or right. It's a really good read. It's like candy in a candy store. The more you eat, the more you want.
You want or email me, richlamar18 at yahoo.com.
What's the title of the book, King?
Beyond Thought, Living Without Hurt and Depression. And next week we'll be talking more, focusing on the book because a lot of people depressed out there, and let's talk about it.
Oh, and another thing, Rich is not a doctor.
No, I'm not a doctor. I just went through this stuff firsthand. I healed myself with all the stuff I talk about, and I don't. I pride myself in saying I'm not a doctor because doctors haven't eliminated anything.
And peace, love is love.